Hello, and welcome back to the Modeling Success in Action podcast. I'm your host, Jessica, and today I am joined by Ness Gale. Now, Ness is a nonprofit leader passionate about empowerment, leadership, and skill building, with extensive experience in mentorship, creating impactful programs, and facilitating opportunities for individuals to gain confidence and self-worth. Deeply committed to fostering community and connection, she works to create spaces where people can thrive. Welcome, Ness. It's great to
Yay!
have you
Thanks for
on the
having
show.
me. This is so
Yay.
exciting.
Yeah. I'm excited to have you on here. It's interesting because I feel like anytime you and I have interacted, you've been backstage and I've been center stage, and now it's time for you to be in the spotlight.
Ooh, okay, I'm ready for it.
Mhm. Right. Yeah. Ness and I
Mhm.
connected through an event that she was coordinating for Low Entropy. And I got to go and speak to a room full of women about how they can help themselves, feel empowered and take action in life. And that was a really cool opportunity, that series of events that you guys were coordinating. So I wanted to return the favor and have an opportunity to, share about all the awesome stuff that you're doing. So Ness, I'm going to throw it over to you, and I'm hoping that you can kind of tell the listeners a little bit about what it is that you do that is helping to empower that community.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you so much for this. It's lovely to be here and speak more about the work that I do with the Low Entropy Foundation. So, we are all about empowering people. Because people do not need to be saved or rescued. I really believe that folks just need the information, the tools, and the opportunity to thrive. So that is what we do, whether it's a workshop or a program that we run, we really are creating opportunities to come in, to learn something, to enhance their knowledge or their skills while in a super supportive community because you need community in order to move forward in the world. So that's the standard as to what we do, and that shows up across different programs. So whether it's Women Rising, like the event that you were a speaker for, or our youth internship program, specifically for youth that are sort of between the ages of 15 and 25, where they come in, learn leadership skills in retail, or whatever else we do in the community. That is our standard. We're not there to save; we're there to equip people with what they need in order to thrive.
I love it. No, that you're going, nobody needs saving. They just need the tools to help themselves, right? Because that
Yeah.
really is the maturing up thing, right? Like if we're teaching people that we're always
Mhm.
going to rescue them, then they're just going to be, feeling vulnerable and helpless, and like they have to wait for that savior. So that's really cool that you're empowering people. So how did you end up doing this? Like, did you end up getting handed some tools to empower yourself, or how did this come about?
Totally. Yeah. So I've actually been in the space of children and youth programs for a really, really long time until I was connected to Low Entropy, which was through a friend. And it was through their youth program that I started to get involved in overseeing and coordinating. Um, and then it was actually through mentorship that got me to be now currently the executive director for the organization because that's not really like on the horizon for me. I've always just like, yeah, youth programs, youth are so great. And they are, and it's lovely. So coming on board with Low Entropy, and gave me the opportunity to step outside of that comfort zone and to oversee programs that had nothing to do with youth. It was, oh my gosh, the world of adults and seniors and, and everyone else. And really learning like, oh, okay, it is kind of the same. You take the same kind of tools of being welcoming and empathetic and trauma informed, and you take this wherever you go and it's applicable. So it really allowed me to see how I can have an impact on not just youth, but the community at large. And then it also gave me the opportunity to mentor under the current or the previous executive director. And really, through her guidance and mentorship and encouragement, just kept growing into the role that I have now. So it was really an amazing opportunity and was exactly what we're all about, right? Getting the tools, the information, the opportunity to thrive, which is what happened for me.
Yeah. Was there a bit of like a growing curve for you? Did you have to, shift how you were, even viewing yourself to be able to feel comfortable stepping into that role? What was that like?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think for me, actually, when I first stepped into more of the executive director type of work, there was a lot of self doubt and questions around my confidence and like, do I like really? Can I do it? Am I going to be able to figure this out? And what really helped me was actually just finding the evidence from my previous experience to be like, okay, well, here's another situation where I didn't really know what I was doing or I had never done this before, and I still figured it out. And not always on my own, but through asking questions and seeking guidance and just learning as I go. So, with that in mind, it really calmed my nerves and just said, okay, it's not everything at once. It's one step at a time, one day at a time, one choice at a time. To build on the skills and the knowledge that you do have to then feel like, okay, yeah, I do have this. Like I got it.
Yeah. So you dug into your like pool of evidence that you already had for yourself of experiences that have
Hmm.
already happened and use that to bolster your trust and confidence in yourself in this experience, right? So there was some, a little bit of self-feedback there and being able to kind of interrupt the pattern and point yourself in a more useful direction with that. That's very cool. So then how does that translate to when you're helping the youth? Because I'm sure that, I mean, even adults and seniors too, but like I'm sure that when you're working with that section of people that are 15 to 25, right, there's so much self doubt that can happen in that chunk of time, right? You are really just figuring out who you
Hmm.
are. So do you find that that you translate those skills to how you're working with the youth as well?
Absolutely. Yeah. I take all of the experiences that I've had, all of the things that I've gone through and really try and use that as an example for them. But also trusting that they're going to know and they're going to find their journey as well. And I don't need to prescribe a certain thing that they need to do or a plan for them, but it really should genuinely and authentically come from them. So when I work with youth, you know, I might come in with some ideas as to what they could work on or maybe nudge them in a particular direction. But at the end of the day, I think it's about asking really good questions and being as empathetic as you can while still encouraging them or pushing them up just a little bit to go to the edge of their comfort zone or their their learning edge, if you will, right? So
Mhm.
to have that push in a super supportive, empathetic way so that they can grow. Because sometimes youth are gonna make bad choices, as we all do, and that's part of our journey, our learning,
Yeah,
right? So
we make all kinds
and
of
just
fun choices
how to do
before
it.
those brains are fused.
Totally, exactly, and that's part of it, and then we can talk about it and reflect when we're older too, right? So I think, yeah, with youth, they definitely have a really difficult time. They go through a lot. I think the best thing that we can do as adults or people or mentors, in their lives, is to be that community of support around them and just constantly be there for them, but not do everything for them. Just really give them the
Mhm.
opportunity to go, to learn, to make mistakes, to grow, and then ultimately thrive.
Yeah. And I feel like that kind of is the difference between empathy and sympathy, right? You can empathize, you remember when you were 15, right? Like you remember what it was like to, have the hormones racing and not be making fully formed decisions and doing all kinds of funky things and in being in self-judgment. But then also, realizing that the really useful kind thing is to let that person stumble and learn and grow and experience versus somebody who's like, "Oh yeah, I remember what it was like. It was really hard. Let's make it easier on them and do everything for them." That would be sympathy,
Mm,
right?
mhm,
So it's kind of cool that you're able to kind of have that lens about it so that these kids can, and I know I say kids like a 25-year-old is not a kid, but like these youth can, really start to build up that same evidence pile that you have in yourself, right? Like, "Oh, I did that
mhm.
thing. I did this scary thing and I didn't die and it was okay, and I could probably do this
Mhm.
next scary thing too. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and built up that confidence over time where like, "Oh, yeah, I failed. I really
Mhm.
blew. Like, that did not go well, and okay, I'm still here. It's okay."
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. So how do you, support yourself through this? Like, are there any practices or anything that you rely on to be able to keep it in perspective like that?
That's a great question. I think I it's a great tool for me too. So it's actually a reflection for myself, and then it helps me show up in the way that is best, for everyone. So I'll explain a little bit more from that too. So Um, in one of my previous jobs, I specifically worked with preteen girls, and we worked on self-esteem and confidence a lot. Like, this was the thing. This is what I wanted them to take away to improve that and think about their self-worth and everything too. And for me, it was like holding up a mirror. Then every time I had negative self talk or I was doing something that was against what I was trying to encourage them to do or mentor them to do, it was just like right back in my face. And I'm like, oh, okay, I need to work on this internally. And I'll mention, hello entropy. Our motto is change starts from within. So I was able to see that, to do self reflection, to work on myself. And I think that in turn shows up in my interactions with them, or it's something that I can talk about or relate to. I think that sometimes the best mentors or the people that we want to look up to have gone through something very similar to us, right? So when I have um, the ability to talk about the struggles that I've had in my life in terms of my own self esteem, confidence, my other struggles that I've had too, I think it shows people that we all go through things, and it's not always just the fancy, amazing things we see on social media in someone's life. There is a
Yeah.
lot more going on and a lot more history to that. So I use that to my advantage. I used to think that my struggles with self esteem was a detriment to myself or like just a horrible thing that I had to go through. And my mindset on that has just completely changed. It's part of my superpower. I can bring that out and I can talk about it and share my experiences in hopes that that'll inspire or give hope to a young person who's going through something similar to be able to relate
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's like, if you ask somebody who's never driven a car before how to drive a car, it just, doesn't make sense, but you've gone through the experience of learning how to do it, right? And now you can
Mhm,
teach others, right? So it's very cool. In NLP, we have this. Well, I mean, so modeling success in action, right? It's based on the concept of modeling, right? Like in NLP, you're looking at somebody who's doing something really well and you're breaking down, how are they thinking? What are their beliefs? What are their moods? What are their actions? And you're stepping into their shoes, right? But the idea
mhm,
that's coming from this is that genius is just it can be broken down to its composite parts and recreated, right? You can just redo exactly what that person did and get the same result. So as you kind of reverse engineer how you got to where you're going, right? You can kind of help help guide them, right? But at the end of the day, it's
mhm,
going to be up to them to choose to, model your example and to take in what's happening. Yeah.
mhm.
I bet you there's a
Totally,
lot of
yeah,
trial by fire happening there.
yeah. Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
So So then tell us about like how you are like leveraging this confidence that you've built inside of yourself. What are you using it to go ahead and do now as the executive director of Low Entropy? How are you putting that into your purpose?
Yeah, I think really modeling that to our team, our greater community as well, in terms of really knowing, for one, who I am and what I stand for, and then also who we are as low entropy, what we stand for, and how we show up. So in going through my own journey, I've been able to also take that and bring that to low entropy and really work out with our team who we are, what we stand for, what our values are, and how that shows up in the work that we do. And I find it really connects us to a common goal because we're all very different and diverse people. Like even on our volunteer team, we've got over 100 volunteers and they all have incredibly different backgrounds. But what unites us all is that common goal, this shared idea, the shared language, the shared vision for the future. So it's really neat to see that in action. And to be a leader who has a lot of empathy and who follows these values, um, and has integrity in actions and thoughts and behaviors and all the things as well. So I really, yeah, I really enjoy what I get to do with the team, and also know that um, I it's us together. It's not one single person. I might hold this position or this title, but it's really all of us that makes low entropy what it is, or what we're doing in the community actually happen. It's not just one person.
So there's a real community mindedness and
Mhm.
trusting that, like, you don't have to have all the answers or you don't have to figure it out all your own, that they like the tools are available for you, even if the tools are another person with some cool skills, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. Mhm.
So you mentioned mission, purpose, right? Like I mean, businesses, foundations, they usually have a mission statement, and it's very clear. But for yourself, do you feel like, you're able to be clear about what your mission is and use that to show up in the world?
Mhm. I love that. I do have a personal mission
You
statement, so,
do?
yeah, I would love to share. Yes, of course I do.
Yes. Okay,
So
so what is it?
my I'm messing up the word. My personal mission statement is that I endeavor to do good while staying well, and that shows up across everything that I do. So, uh, the work that I've always done has been in community for community. So, that first part, I endeavor to do good, is no matter what I do, where I am, what my title is, or what have you, I want to make some kind of impact in the community in support of people. And the other side of that is incredibly important too, right? So I endeavor to do good while staying well, right? Because I don't want to work work and only help others. I got to make sure I'm okay so I can do that good work in the community too. So it's
Mhm.
a balance of both things, and checking in and saying, "Am I okay? Do I need some time off? Do I need some R&R? What is it that I need to fuel up so that I can do the good work in community with other people, and we can do this in a good way
Mhm.
together." I see a lot of amazing, amazing community leaders, whether they're in a nonprofit or doing what have you in the community, that do such great work. But I wonder, do you have time for yourself? Are you making time for yourself? Are you okay? So
Yeah.
that's where that comes from, and balancing both sides.
Well, it's that put your own oxygen mask on first mentality, right? Like, if
Mhm.
you don't, you could maybe, go around and put masks on, a handful of people before you run out of your own oxygen and just pass out, right? You could do a little bit of good, but if you put yours on, then you can totally help all kinds of people, right? Like if you take care of you. So those people that you're seeing that are, like burning the candle at both ends and they're doing some awesome stuff, like it makes me wonder how long are they going to be able to keep it up? Right? How much good
Mhm.
work can they get done before they, end up in the hospital or they have to, switch careers or, they start to use some unuseful coping mechanisms, right? Because, as humans, we tend to reach for easily available, band-aid solutions when we're not really listening to ourselves, whether it's food or alcohol or even just, mindless scrolling. It can feel like
Mhm.
somehow it's giving you what you need when really it's just taking from you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
how do you do good while being well? What do you do to keep the balance? Like, how do you make sure that you are well? Do you have checks and balances in place?
Yeah, and I'm not perfect at this. This is a
What is
doing things.
perfect? What is that? Is that a thing?
That's a great question. What is perfect? Yeah. It's a journey. The whole thing is a journey. I don't know if there is going to be a point in time in my life where I say, "Yeah, I've got the balance. It's how it should be." It
Mhm.
it fluctuates. It
Well,
goes up
I mean,
and
okay, balance is a misnomer. The pendulum swings, right?
down.
Like it's always kind of going to be back and forth. There's never going to be straight down the middle, right? But
Mhm,
you want to keep the swinging to a minimum, right?
mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So for me, I do a lot of check-ins with myself. And if I feel that I'm not able to do it myself, then I'm going to rely on someone I trust, right? So whether it's a friend or a family member or a coach, just like, hey, can you hold some space for me? I want to talk about how I am or how I'm doing. So a lot of that, and then just doing my best to make sure that there are things showing up in my life that bring me joy outside of work. So whether it's like going for a hike, seeing a friend, making sure that those things show up, and also knowing myself as well. So I'm quite an introverted person. So if I find that I'm doing a lot of meetings or events or what have you, I might just book a day where it's a nothing day. And I don't talk to anyone or see anyone or do anything. And it's marvelous. It's so, so wonderful. So really just constantly assessing, because also moods go up and down, and sometimes it's busy and sometimes it's not. And when you know yourself, then you know things like, for me, I tend to always want to do things and accomplish things. So if for some reason things are slow at work, then instead of worrying about doing more things, I just go, "Oh, I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna just savor in the slowness or the week of, not so many emails," or whatever it might be, and be like, "Yeah, this is great. What else can I do right now not related to work?" And enjoy that and really take the opportunity to spend some time on myself or with myself and do the things that bring me joy.
Mhm. So there's this pulse checking, this constantly,
Mhm.
taking stock of what's going on instead of just, imagining, okay, it's going to be like this and like being really robotic about it. You are in reality with what's happening
Mhm.
for you and moving with it. I love it. Yeah. S So, okay. So, I'm starting to get a sense of, what your drivers are, right? Like you're treating community as this this thing that you can tap into, right? And support and be a part of. It's like this living, breathing entity for you, this idea of community where you're reaching out and you're leaning on it for support, but then you're also feeding back into it and you're doing what you can to support it. It's this kind of beautiful thing because a lot of people
Mhm.
are like, imagining that they're like an island, right? It's just them and that, the other people are maybe competition or, or it's
Mhm.
embarrassing to ask for help or like there's this kind of interesting mentality about people that's very singular sometimes. And you're very expansive and inclusive about it, which is quite cool. And it seems like it's, helping you to be able to be in that, that kind of equilibrium,
Mhm.
waving back and forth of that balance. So is there anything else before we wrap this all up? I can't believe we've already we've already been here for like 25 minutes. Is there anything else that you want to leave the listeners with as they start to kind of play around with stepping into your model of the world?
Mhm. Gosh, I think the last thing I would wanna leave on is just also the importance of following your heart, following your gut as well, right? So I talk a lot about self-reflection, and I think when you know yourself, and that's a journey too, you're gonna get to know yourself more and more and more over time, but when you know yourself, then you're gonna know where you wanna be and what you wanna do and, explore it and allow yourself give yourself the space to try different things and take those different opportunities and then determine for yourself if that's what you wanna do or where you wanna be or the group of few people you wanna be with or the community you wanna be a part of or what have you. Just just go and know that you can move around as well, and that that's okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I think that's incredibly important. Just I think because I'm so in tune with myself, and that's always guided me in a good direction. So I want to encourage others to do the same.
And have you always been in tune with yourself, or was that, a process?
Ooh, I've become, I would say, more in tune over time, but it's always been a thing that I have done, whether I was just incredibly young and wanted to talk to other people or journal or what have you, but always super in tune with how I'm feeling, even if I don't understand it. So if I just feel like something's off, I'll know it, but it might take a little while to figure out why it feels off and really like go through the layers and dig down and see. Um, what it is at the core that I'm looking for or that I need.
Mhm. And then you can take action on it, which is a beautiful thing. Yeah.
Mhm.
You can go fill that need. Ah, I love
Mhm.
it. This was beautiful. So, okay, so if anyone was listening to this and went, "I wanna be involved in community, I wanna support community," tell us how they can come out and, help with, low entropy or volunteer or get involved in events. How can they connect up with you there?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's super simple. You can find us on our website, lowentropy.org. That's LOWENTROPY. People sometimes misspell it, so I'll spell it out. Or just look us up on socials, or you can reach out to me. My email is just ness at lowentropy.org. So that works out too.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to put all of your connection details in the caption of this as well, in case anybody didn't catch that spelling on the fly, and then they can all follow up with you there. Thank you so much for joining me today. This was fantastic.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I've had a great time.